All right, so I forked Django Queries to my personal GitHub. The reason why it's Django Queries 1 is because I already have one on my personal GitHub. I forked it down, or I forked it and then I cloned it. And so in here, I've got, we have a Django project called Orm Queries. What does ORM stand for?
Object relational mapping. And
what does that do?
It's sort of like the glue between like shit you can, or stuff you can do on HTML back to like SQL on the back end.
It glues between the object model and the model.
Yep. So yeah, it's specifically allows you to essentially write some code in one language. It converts it to SQL, and then essentially write code in one language, maps it over to raw SQL. Just think of it like that. Not every language, I'm pretty sure almost every single language has their own ORM. So Django has a built-in ORM, but there's other ORMs out there. So like JavaScript and Node has an ORM called Sequelize. I think Ruby and Rails has one called Active Record. So they're all just different ORMs that allows you to write code in one language and it converts it to SQL, because everyone uses SQL, but not everyone knows SQL. If you know a language, you can use ORM to essentially write SQL. All right, so let's go through the setup. So create a virtual environment.
I guess a quick question on that. So for the ORM, if it's converting over, basically writing another language in whatever language it's due, I assume that it won't be the best way to write that. Like I assume if you were to write in SQL as opposed to using this, you can write it a little better, or is it pretty accurate at what it's doing?
It's pretty accurate at what it's doing. Like the raw SQL query that it's converting it to might seem complex, and there might be another way to do it in just raw SQL, but on the job, no one's going to be writing raw SQL unless you're, I don't know, like a database administrator. But yeah,
got it.
Yep. So 99.9% of the time, you're going to be using an ORM to query database and update databases. All right. So following.
What ORM would you say is probably?
Excuse me? Someone asked a question. What ORM? What was that?
Which ORM would you say is most used?
It honestly depends on the language. So each language has its own ORM. So if you're a Ruby shop and your program or your company writes back in Ruby code, it's more likely Active Record. If you're a Node shop, it's going to be Sequelize or some other ORM for Node. If you're a Django shop, it's probably going to be Django's built-in ORM. So I don't know if there's like it's not like you can use Ruby, right? Like use Python and use Active Record as an ORM, because Active Record specifically for Ruby on Rails or Ruby. You can't use Sequelize in Python. It's specifically a ORM that is written specifically for a language, like a specific language, to convert it into SQL. All right. Any other questions? All right. So first, we're going to set up a virtual environment. I'm just going to copy these commands. So I'm in Django Queries. Let's open this. Yep, I'll do Python -make virtual environment. I'm going to call the virtual environment venv. I can call this whatever I want, but just keep it simple. Call it venv and keep that the same throughout all the projects, just so no matter what project I'm in, I know how to get into a virtual environment by doing the venv. So I've got a virtual environment right here, venv. Now I need to activate that virtual environment, go into it. So notice right here, I'm in my master and there's nothing before my TA preet. But if I source venv bin activate, watch what happens right after or right before that. So now it's explicitly saying, hey, I'm in my virtual environment. So just be cognizant of when you're actually in a virtual environment versus not. All right. So next, I'm going to install, just like in Node has like npm install to install like the Node packages. They have pip install the requirements.txt file. So this is equivalent to Node's package.json file. So we've got Django 3.1. We might be on a different Django version now, but this all should still work. If it doesn't work, I'll go ahead and manually install these. Anyway, so I'm installing Django. Red, green unit tests, ICOP G2.
Now, quick question. So
Yep.
for this step, I had issues with the scicop PG2. If you were to move that to the end of the list, because it errored out on the second one and then it didn't download anything else. If I were just to comment that out or move it to the end of the list, it should be actually download everything else, right?
Correct. And if you're having issues with this, just delete it and just install your own, whatever.
If you're on an M1, you likely had to change that to psycho-PG binary. I think keep that in mind if you're on M1.
All right. So I installed everything. I didn't get any errors or anything, which is good. Let me zoom in again. There we go. Ooh. All right. So then it says, once you've set up the app, your goal is to get all the tests passing. CD into Orm Queries and run Python manage.py test. All right, so I'm going to close the requirements. Where am I at? Come down here. I'm going to CD and ORM queries. I'm going to list everything out. I've got my manage.py. What is manage.py? Can anybody tell me?
It's like the runner for Django, right?
Yeah, it's like the entry point into the Django app, the Django project. So I'm going to open up here. You'll never really want to change anything in here. You'll never change anything here. So you don't really need to do anything with that. So ORM Queries is our project. Products is our app. And we have our test cases. And this product got CRUD file. This is just a totally separate file. But yeah. All right. So I'm going to come over here and then run Python manage.py test. So I'm going to clear the terminal down here and run Python manage.py test. And let's see if everything works. So it's creating a test database and it just errors out. I've got 19 failed errors. And then it's destroying the database. So I'm just going to do this one by one. And you kind of have to read the test case to kind of see what they're asking. So I'm just going to do that one. So test get all products. We have this get all products class method. And it's supposed to return all the products. So I'm a brand new developer. I just starting to learn Django. I have no idea how to make queries in Django. Django's using Django's OM. So I'm going to say like how to return or retrieve all elements from Django ORM database. I don't know, just random keywords. Okay, making queries. All right, so it looks like I have like a model here. It's got 3 different tables, blog, author, entry. But I'm just going to look over here on the side, creating objects. That's what this is. And retrieving objects, retrieving all objects. Okay. So the simplest way to retrieve objects from a table is to get all of them. To do this, just use the all built-in method. So entry, so that I'm guessing that's the name of the table, objects.all. So I'm just going to come over here. And this test case kind of gives you the first answer by running that, but I'm just going to return product. Let's just see what product.objects.all. All right. So I'm gonna clear the terminal and run that again. And hopefully I've passed that one test. Okay, I passed that one. What questions do you have about that first one? Relatively straightforward.
Not specifically the first one, but like as far as Django is concerned, like will we always be running managed.py, or does that depend? Will we be running specific application files, or
90% of the time you'll be running Python managed.py. Yeah. All right, so this first one, find the matching product by model name. All right, so find by model. So it looks like I'm going to have to create class method def find by model, and this takes in class, and it looks like this find by model method takes in a string. So I don't know, the model name, I'll say model name, and it says get. So this one just says, this one already knows that the ID for this model is in the ID of 3, but I have to find it by the model name. So I'm going to go back to queries, and can anybody help me out? Which one? Retrieve specific objects. So I'm just going to look at that. So there's filter.
Will that be the get?
The get. Is there a get? Oh, retrieving a single object with get. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So it's probably this. So I'm just looking. Okay. So here, I'm just going to comment that out. Get. So I'm going to return product.objects. It'll always be product.objects.get, but I need to inspect what the database table looks like. So I'm going to go into models, and I'll bring that over here. So it says by model name. Do I have a model name? So I've got that model. Are there any models? Okay, I think that is the case. So right here, it's grabbing it by the primary key. This could be one of the columns in the table. So I'm going to say model equals, and whatever the model name is being passed into there. So I'm going to clear that, run that test again. Maybe I got 2 now. Cool, I passed 2 of them. All right, 2 down. What, 16 more to go, 17 more to go. So last record. So get the last record. So last record, it doesn't accept any. I'm just going to copy this down just to make things easier. Last record, and that one doesn't accept any parameters or any arguments. So again, I'm a new developer. I'm just looking. Retrieve last element, last entry, Django Orm query. All right, so get the last, there's reverse, latest. I don't even think this is in a certain query set. Object.all, last, first. How old is this one? This is 11 years ago, so I don't know if this is up to date. Can anybody help me out? Latest.
Yeah, so there's a method. I just did return product.objects.last.
So product, all right, product.last. Like so.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's run that one. Great, 3 down. All right. So get their products by rating. All right, so by rating. So there we go, by rating, and it takes in a rating. So objects, and now come over here, I noticed I saw something with specific object with filters. All right, so public equals, so works. So it looks like we'll need the filter and whatever the rating equals. So whatever rating equals that. But let's see, we're here. Is there like a rating? Okay, we have a rating there. So objects.filter rating equals rating. I'm going to clear the terminal. I'm going to run Python manage.py test. All right, cool. We've got 4 down. You'll notice that filter is probably the most common one throughout this exercise. So rating range. All right, so by rating range.
Lou, is that a logic error? Rating equals rating.
Nope. So I'm doing rating. So I can say, so
I tried using the same name in my parameters as the name in the object because I didn't want to confuse myself.
yeah. So that's essentially what I'm doing. Since filter takes in a keyword argument, it knows that, hey, this rating is the key, which will correspond to a column in the table. And then the input will be whatever this input is.
Okay, at first it looked like you were passing in a tautology.
Yep. So now we got by rating range. Is that correct? So by rating range, it takes in a range of ratings. So it looks like we have a low, so between 1.1 and 1.5. So I'm going to say like, oh, not there. In here, low rating, high rating. And in here, I'm still going to be using filter, but now I actually don't know how to do this. Can anybody help me out? Is there a way to get?
Yeah, this is where
Rating underscore range, and then equal to, and then you just pass in the 2 parameters.
it's a rating underscore range.
So rating underscore range, and then low rating, high rating, like so.
I didn't even put them in an array. I just put them in parentheses.
So does it take in a tuple?
Yeah. Low rating, comma, high rating.
All right.
That's what I did.
All right, we got 5. Did anybody else do it a different way?
Yeah, I did it with filter, and then, well, I had 2 filter statements, I guess, and an conditional between them.
So you had 2 filters.
So product.objects.filter, I had rating underscore GTE, which is greater than or equal, equals the low rating, and then an and sign between that, and then another product.objects.filter rating underscore less than, so LTE equals
Gotcha.
the high rating. Yeah.
Okay. You can do that, or just have it separated. Rating underscore less than or equals to equals high rating. That's also what you can do, because you can pass in multiple arguments in the filter. So let's see if that works as well. But yeah, but I think range is probably the optimal because it specifically tests the range, but there are multiple ways to do it as well. So it's range, great. We have filter by rating and color, interesting. Rating. So I'm going to say rating, color, and then just like I was doing here with filter equals range, I'll do filter equals rating and color equals color. But let me just double check the model to make sure it has a color. Yep, it does. I just want to Make sure that's the case. All right, I'm going down in the terminal. I'm clearing the terminal. I'm going to run that test for test 6. Cool. 6 tests ran, 6 tests passed. Color or rating. Uh-oh. So by rating or color, so pretty much the same. But let's see how to do or statements. I'm going to just look for or, and there's like a 404, which is not good.
This is where I got into the Q's. I don't know if it was necessary.
All right, all right, you said Q. I'm going to type in Q space. So complex looks up with Q objects. All right, keyword arguments, queries, fill, blah, 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 and together. For example, the Q encapsulates a single like similar. Starts with who.
Did anybody do an or without Q?
But yeah, let's do Q. Rating equals rating. Or Q. Color equals color. But I'm getting an squiggly. Q is not defined. Let's see, what do I have to do? So looks like I have to import Q. So let's go ahead and.
From Django DB models?
Yep, from Django DB models. So the models is a module or a class.
So, since you already imported Django, could you instead just do django.db.models.q? Or
Where down here?
that probably makes it easier. Yeah. Just
That.
Huh.
So I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if that would work, but it looks like it does not.
No.
Since we already have Django imported, right?
We have Django imported, but you still have to like import specific things within the in the path.
My mistake.
All right, so we got 7. Cool, 7 down. What do we got? 12 more to go. All right, no color count. So I have no color count. Let's see what this looks like. Come down here. So there's no color count. Does it take in any arguments? It does not. So this one, filter. I'm just going to look at the table. Maybe there's some kind of, it allows to be null. Null is true. It looks like all these null are true. So I'm going to say color equals none. So that means it has no color values. So I'm going to come over here and run that. Uh-oh, we got an error. What did it say? No color count. Returns the count of products that have no color value. All right. Is there an easy built-in method?
Called count.
Just count. Just gonna look at count. Nice. So 1, 2. All right, let's just run count. Run that. Cool, 8 down.
Okay, I ended up using is null. And is there going to be a difference between is null and none?
Like so?
Actually, is null equals, it was color underscore underscore is null equals true.
Color
I like yours better.
is null equals true. I don't know if there's actually a better way. If that works. Oh. Let's look. Is null.
Oh, is null is lowercase.
Oh, lowercase. Thank you. The hell, product code isn't. Oh, I'm getting an error there. So, yeah, I don't know if there's an actual a better way. Like, I think they're both fine.
I kind of wondered if, you know, the challenge was ambiguous because no color could mean that it's blank or it could mean that it's null. And I'm wondering if none is more permissive than null.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I have to remember how it's stored in the database. So I think it's null, like null and none, I think. So null equals true. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the same. I'm wondering.
Well, from
Probably isn't. Yeah. Go ahead, Andrew.
From the talk with Jack, wasn't it that null was null could be unknown and it could be no value? It could be either one of those two. But since you are, it is kind of to me, it seems like it is specified within the none equals no value.
Right.
Is there a way to have an unknown in this method?
If I had a red item and then I went in and I changed that string to an empty string, would it be null or would it be an empty string?
It'd probably be an empty string unless there's some validator that changed it or that checked against it.
It might be that none is a better choice here because maybe it would pick up an empty string as different from null.
Right. Yeah, but I think inside of the database, if there's nothing in there, it just defaults to no. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, but they both passed. So let's go 9. Place above or below. Price above or below. So we have below price, above price. I think this is where we want to use also.
Actually, it's not price in both cases. It's price and rating.
Oh yeah, where is it? Price above rating. So price below price and above rating. Is that right? Yep. So here, I think another alternative solution to range was less than or equals to or less than. So we can also use the same logic here, return products.filter, but then we can say, was it price? Yeah, what is price? What's the model?
Price underscore cents.
Price cents. Double underscore, do we want it less than or equal to? No, or it's just less than, below price. And in here, I think we also want that Q. Or Q price or rating greater than equals above rating. Why am I getting an error there? There we go. So I'm going to go to.
And I really don't like that, you know, LT equals looks like less than or equal, but that equal sign is just to connect the two. It's kind of a construct.
Yeah. So I just broke these down into separate lines. I'm going to clear the terminal, run that. All right, 9 down, 10 to go. Jeebus, what is this? Tested order and then price by. So product got CRUD ordered, priced by. Does this take in any arguments? It does not. All right. So this one. So order by products. I'm just going to search order by or order by. I don't know. Okay.
Order by is pretty straightforward.
All right. Sweet. Order by headline and then price descending. So how does this one? Is it just order by?
Order underscore by.
By, and then what are we passing in? The category.
Yep.
I'm just going to look at here. So we have category. And then is there a way?
With the comma and keep going.
So comma. So order by. And then descending order.
Yeah, just the unity minus in front of the inside the quotes.
I'm just going to say descending. Am I spelling that wrong? What is it for descending?
ESC.
ESC?
That's how you spell it if you're searching it, but no, in here you just put a minus sign.
Like so?
Quote, the single quote minus sign, then that's it. Now your column name.
So order by then price descending. So it's minus price underscore cents. Clear. Awesome. So now 11. What is it? Return products made by manufacturers with names containing an input string. All right. At class method, def, CLS, name like, then it's going to return product dot objects dot filter. Then we're going to do manufacturer. So yeah, what is it? Just make sure that it's
Yep, that's just normal manufacturer.
under I contains. Oh, yeah, I contains, right? Contain.
The I might not be appropriate according to the definition of the challenge, but contains is good.
Oh, name alike. Let's run that. Clear. All right. Keep going. So which one is this? Name for query group. So this one takes in a name. Name for a query. So, all right. So we have it. Returns a list of manufacturer names that match a query. So group. All right. So it returns an array or a query set. All right. How do we return a query set? Or like an array.
Like tack on values list.
So dot values list, pass in the field. So manufacturer. And what else do we have to pass in?
That equals true.
Flat equals true. So clear.
Leave it up to you to explain what flat equals true is supposed to really mean.
That's actually a good question. I haven't looked at that in a long time. So flat equals even in here. So what is this return? Just this itself. I think it just
It's going to come back as a list with brackets.
Yep, flat equals true, Django. I thought it like values flat equals true. So if you only pass in a single field, you can also pass in flat. If true, this will mean that return results are single values rather than one tuples. So let's see. So let's actually just look at what it looks like without the flat equals true. Should print it off. So yeah, it looks like it's returning tuples. And if you do flat equals true, it's a query set with, so it just removes a tuple from it. That's about it. I don't know why it would return a tuple unless, I think that, I don't know why. I know like a lot of old Django, like in the old Python too, just utilizes tuples a lot, but they're kind of going away from that. So that could be why they added that. So you don't have to deal with tuples.
And the word flat is just something you need to learn, apparently.
Yeah. So 13 returns products that are not in a category. So not in a category. So category, let's get rid of all that. So instead of filter, what do we have?
Do you have an excludes?
Exclude.
NOS.
Category equals category. Clear. Let's run that. Cool. A few more. Almost there. Returns a product that are not in a category up to a limit. Interesting. So category up not into a limit. So we have a category and like limit, I guess. And product excludes category. What else do we want to add?
Like an array split at the end with the limit. Yep.
Yep. All right. 15. Returns an array of manufacturers for a category. All right. So let's go down here. For a category, what is it? All right.
It's the return of that values list flat thing again.
This whole thing, category, values list, category true. So a list. So, uh-oh.
Manufacturer is not category in the last element.
Oh. Oh, God. There we go. There we go. 4 more. All right, average category rating. So we have average category rating, categories. How do I grab like the average or so I've got all the categories.
We get to aggregate.
To aggregate.
You might need to import that if you haven't already.
So aggregate should be already working. But now how do I average them all out?
You import AVG.
Import AVG. I'm going to import max as well. And so AVG and then rating. Does that make sense? See if that works. All right, 16. Very similar to grabbing the average. We can also grab the max. We want the greatest price. And does that looks like it doesn't take in any arguments. So objects dot aggregate. And then instead of average rate, I'm going to do the max, and then we want the price sentence. Is that right? Clear. Run that. Why is it taking so long? All right. 2 more. So we have longest model name.
And I did 19 and then I did 18. And I'm wondering if there's a better way to do 18.
I don't know. Let's figure this out. Let's greatest price. All right. So objects. What do we do? Order by?
You can use the length function.
There's a length function.
Yeah, they added it. You have to go to db.models.functions import capital L length.
It's not even here. So let's go up. So there's a built-in function called from Django.db.models.functions import length. And all right, so we have order by. What else? So we order
Then
by
capital L length of the thing that you want to measure, in this case, model.
the model. All right.
You can chain on descending to that, so .desc,
All right.
and then you can array split at the end to just get the just the topmost value.
So like that.
Yeah. Well, :1.
So
Like because you're gonna get a list. To start it, I had dot values list because you want the ID for this one, right? Yeah.
okay, so you want dot values list. ID.
Yeah, dot values list, and then
ID.
the ID flat equals true.
Equals true. And at the very end, just does that work? You're grabbing the very last one.
So mine was ordered the opposite. I had product.objects.values list.
Okay.
And then .order by.
Gotcha.
But no, you're gonna need the :1 to limit the list there, like the returning list down to just one entry.
So
I guess that could work too, but I didn't think about that.
:1.
Yeah, I did that to split it down to just one, and then
Hold on, let me see if this works out. So, if
So
I,
yeah, so you're getting the list object. So if you add .get, just an empty .get to the end, you'll actually get the ID.
okay. So this works right here,
Oh yeah, that worked too. Nice.
but since you did it out of or like in a different order, that also worked.
Yeah, I just had to add a .get to get the ID instead of if I just did the index like you did, that would have worked.
Gotcha.
If you didn't order it descending, you can tack on a .last .id at the end, and it returns the right stuff.
So if I didn't order it by descending, what you do dot last or here?
And just dot.
Sorry, you're breaking up, Don. We got one more.
You don't need the values list. You just do the, after you order it, then at the end of it, it's dot last, open, close parent, dot descending, dot ID.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Can anybody hear him? Yeah. Do you want
Really?
to post that one in the channel and we'll. So the last one, make this quick. So return products ordered by the length of their model name. Jeebus. Class query. So the length of their model name. All right. Products order by. Do you want to do length again? It looks like 18. And is that it? Oh, that was a lot easier than 18. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so for a few of these, I had my like functions in the opposite order that you did, and the results were the same. So like you had dot filter and then chaining dot values list. I did it the opposite way. And does it just not really matter like what order you do these in because the results are the same?
I think it depends. Like, so I'm sure this. So you had values list, then order by.
Yeah, for that example, I started with values list and then added order by at the end of it. But even higher up, you started with dot filter and added like values list, like that one, category manufacturers. And I did it the opposite way. And yeah,
so the values list in the filter, it'll still return the same, essentially the same elements or the same query set, but then like filter. So essentially, yes, in this case, if you use filter and then values list, I think it should still work. But I wouldn't say that it doesn't matter no matter what.
right. How should I think about that? Like which one should go first? In a lot of the cases when you're just trying to get the object, it doesn't seem to matter as much, but.
Right. I would say like, if you were writing like a raw SQL query, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to grab like, all right, we want to grab everything in the database that has like the categories.
Right. Yeah.
And then what do you want to do with that? All right. And then we'll want to flatten it or grab the manufacturers or order it by a specific. So, yeah. Honestly, these are pretty complex. They're more complex than you'll probably write or have to write typically. But I'm going to stop the recording.